And see, a lot of people don't know the hand of Christopher Columbus is still moving the board. He's still controlling the board, and he's long gone, right? The day that Christopher Columbus decided to be an expeditionalist and travel and find new territories was the day humanity lost society. The rest of society then suffered chaos based upon these group of travelers setting out to conquer new territories. So notice that the game of Christopher Columbus still lives on to this day. The conquer, divide, and take over the continent strategy is still moving on the board, because a lot of men looked up to that doctrination of what he did and thought it was something so fucking gloriful to be doing, right? How he came, conquered, or shall I say stole the land, and his buddies followed him, and they just went around taking and stealing shit. I said that to say this. What he did then is still moving on the board now. These big corporations, the government, all like what's here now was motivated by Christopher Columbus. Because through his strategy and techniques that they used to do whatever they did, the generation after that evolved his philosophy. So his philosophy created dictators, dictator minds, which got us here. Technology and the rest of this shit, right? And that's what we're saying now. All these, like I said, the government, the 1%, all this rest of this shit that's going on, right? They take over the continent, build their houses or build sub-houses that's connected to them. Everything connects back to them. They cut all the trees down, which since the universe, it changes. Cutting trees down changes the climate, and that's what you call climate change. The more trees that are being cut from the earth is a sort of like a car sideswiping you when you're driving. It throws the universe out of its shift or how it's spinning. Because look at it. There's a shortage of food. There's a shortage of land to buy land, because they built all the games and their monopoly, and they own everything. So that means the less you can buy, and the more they have, and the more control their game is, and the more powerful they become, the more laws and bills that restrict the rest of the world from even touching the fence of their game, until they're ready to change it and throw it in a different direction. And by the time you're able to touch that first one just a little bit, it's already changed with new, stronger things to protect it, right? So they're fucking the universe up with more pollution, and cutting the trees, which then, just think about this. If there was more trees on the universe, then whenever we just think about, like, this may be a crazy, not even a crazy thought. I'm gonna say this may be a cosmic thought. I'm gonna call this is a cosmic thought, right? What if there was more trees, right? Just imagine if there was more trees. Just think about if this tree that is a herb that helps the human body in a way. It doesn't matter what benefit, it's a good benefit humans can consume and take it. What if there were more herbal trees that, once this tree grows, leaves dry, and once the wind blow, these small particles that's able to float is now in the air that's moving. We will be able to heal quicker. We'll be able to even to receive medicine even from the air that is being blown through. But being that there are less trees, there's nothing to gain from the wind. The wind is only blowing all this pollution that are being caused by this government, this big tech, all of these industrial movements, right? And the rest of the society is inhaling all this bullshit, investing in all this bullshit when it's man's design. I get it. A lot of people want to be wealthy. A lot of people want to be, owning like stocks and all of these things. But it all falls down to what grid is this system being pumped through. So if this system you're investing in is controlled by the very people who conquer, divide, and separate, then what makes you think by investing in it, or just because you think it's a Coca-Cola company, it has no ties to the other side? It does. These companies own these small companies. They just letting them keep their little power to continue doing the business so they can sit back and collect the checks and let them control that. You know what I'm saying? Then they take all the fault. So these companies are all managed under the hierarchies, right? And they're taking up all the space, cutting the trees and putting in big warehouses, and now from all of the industrial work they're doing, all type of toxic waste come with that. So much come with that. But then again, there's less trees, so that means as humans, there is more being taken away from even the air, what's in nature, the climate change, based upon humans corrupting the earth with so much gas, toxins, all type of deadly chemicals. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is connected. All of what's moving around us is connected. Because the more industrial you see, the less trees. The less trees, the less oxygen, the less you can grow your food, agriculture. They're taking up the space, so you ain't got no land to do that with. And they control the meat market. They control all these markets, right? So you barely can get in. And once you do get in, they still gonna block you. I'm not like don't never listen to someone say, well, once you change your position of people around you, in every aspect of workplace or wherever we're going to out here in this industrial or new millennium of technology and all the rest of this shit, in every area you go to, there's competitiveness, meaning there's someone that's constantly challenging you, constantly challenging you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So everywhere you go, I don't care where you go. You can go to church. There's someone that's looking at you that's like, I dressed better than her today. She thought she outdid me. Or she don't know nothing about the Lord, not much more than I do because I've been going to church longer than them. So I can hold my nose up. Everywhere you go, it's gonna be motherfuckers who are thinking of a challenge for you. And that's part of life, because competitiveness brings forth those who take on and go head to head with challenges, and that's a good experience. But things always go left. Where there's challenges is a lot. Where there's challenge, mean there's a lot of people involved, especially if it's big money behind it, and you never know what measures these entities or beings will go to see their goal not be defeated or to make sure their team wins. So it's life and death. So you must kick in your consciousness, and your consciousness must be very aware at all times. Because if you don't, you're gonna be tricked. You're gonna be pushed out of the way. And sometimes, and not always physically, like harming you. It can be just like knocking you out of the box mentally. Or throwing you off track. Anything. So we must constantly keep those around us who we love or who are like-minded on the same track. Give them information and share information. Because it all makes things better. Don't let no one walk in the blind. You knowing something and allowing someone else to take that wrong direction, you are more guilty of knowing and not speaking or saying anything to give a different perspective or a different angle of looking at it, because everyone is not consciously 100%, and you can never be 100% conscious, because it's a thing that forever evolves, and there's infinite understanding of what's here, what's there, what's in front of us, what's behind us, what's all around us. So the problems that we sometimes deny, let's just say we want to build a movement to give back the universe the proper things that it needs. We need more trees, less pollution. We need more rights as beings, because hell, not even a homeless person probably can pull an apple off a rich person's tree and they just hungry. They just pulling the apple off the tree. But that rich owner don't like that homeless person being hungry and would rather him starve and not pull that apple off the tree. So he called the cops, and the cops know what area they're coming in, so they have a mind mentality to make sure this homeless person who's hungry, who just want the apple off the tree and nothing else. The cops come in, the cops gonna beat him, take him to jail, tase him, and take the apple. Then take him to jail and sit him in a holding cell for 10 hours, still no food, no water. So it tells you something. This government system is a disease of the earth. Take down this government system, and it'll have a domino effect and knock all those who we see now as the big players, the small players, the medium players, whoever they are. The domino effect is gonna happen, and all of them rub elbows. That's why when something happens with these motherfuckers, they all panic and they all start selling out, switching sides. You see a lot of them pointing fingers, a lot of them taking the fall to save those who they pledge to. So it's time for a new rising of leaders, man. You don't gotta be perfect. No one's perfect. But if you went through an experience and it was wrong it was wrong when you did it, and you got away with it, and then you self-reflected and noticed that was the right way to carry out as a being, you fix yourself. And you share that with others. And then you create a network of people who are experiencing without taking or dividing the people. Because if you have a group of people that are experiencing but also are paying attention to those experiences and collecting data on it, then you have a group of people who are not perfect, but they all have one thing in common: the open mind for understanding. Only to write a code for themselves when they're taking accountability. That's writing a code for yourself. Accountability. Because accountability, you reinvest that back to yourself. I'm gonna put this piece right here. Boom. Now your being is a better self. Because you notice a block that was able to be hacked. And once that hack happened, you then rewrote a code that made a safer block. Now you can replace that into your being and walk in a different light. And you are different. Your changes are forever. You're not just one setting. Even when your flesh is no more, your energy is divided amongst the universe. And that's even more, that's even better once you are no more in this flesh, because that's one thing about your energy. See, it doesn't matter how tall you is, how short you is. You may feel like at your height is your cup. That's where your water stops at. But once it's out of this compressed form and it's out into the universe, it is more massive than you think. And your energy is gonna divide between the universe. It's gonna go to another being. It's gonna then separate and go to plants. It's gonna go to some animals. It's gonna go to the cosmics. It's gonna separate and hit every into the earth, the water, everywhere. Someone and everything on this earth is gonna get a piece of your DNA, your knowledge, once your energy reaches and expands. We're turning the universe with that. That's the key. That's why tracking this data of human nature is so important. Awakening your ability to understand that you are just a sponge, here to experience all of these energies from living this plane. So throughout your whole existence, you thinking you living on top surface, think you just here to have a good time, buy the fancy cars, clothes, be with that person, be with this person. But I'm discovering that the human existence we are just collecting data. We are just collecting data. We're giving it to somewhere. It's going somewhere once our flesh and our energy is out of this form. It's going somewhere. So that tells me we are nothing more than data collectors, scientists already. We are nothing more than cells here to live to experience, die off of the flesh. Energy then is placed and separated and blasted off into the universe. So we're giving intelligence to the earth. So we're cells that are informing the universe. And our experiences is collecting data. So when we do die off, we know we're buried somewhere. Your energy will blast through wherever you're buried at. Your energy from that point, once your flesh is rotting out and your energy is no more your flesh, and your energy is then divided. Your intelligence, your energy, whatever space you was in, what the amount of intelligence you had is then transferred to everything. Sort of like we're antennas, just giving data. Because the more thoughts we have, the more feelings we have, the more emotions we have, causes energy. Then you have a certain frequency at that point in time. It's being read by something. It's being interpreted by all things around. Damn, the people has really been fooled, man. The people were born and slavery never stopped. Because so many games, so many lies,